It is beginning to look a lot like Christmas in the art room. And if there's one thing that reminds me of Christmas, it is a very special flower called the poinsettia. There's no doubt you've seen these amazing Christmas flowers in the stores or anywhere you go where people decorate for the holidays. So today's art lesson, we're not only going to get to learn how to draw our very own beautiful poinsettia, but we're also going to learn about one of my favorite famous artists named Georgia O'Keeffe. So our goal today is that you will be able to use lines, shape, texture, and value to create your own poinsettia drawing. So let's take a closer look at our little friend, Georgia O'Keeffe. One of my favorite quotes of Georgia O'Keeffe's is, "I found that I could say things with color and shapes that I couldn't say any other way." One thing that I really love about Georgia O'Keeffe's artwork is her composition and her use of space. So our goals are that we will learn how to use good composition and the space on our paper, and that we can use lines, shape, color, value, and texture to create a drawing of a poinsettia inspired by the famous flowers that Georgia O'Keeffe drew. So let's take a look at some of those amazing paintings. And whenever I like to look at a piece of artwork like Georgia O'Keeffe's, it's important to think about what you see, make an observation, and think about using the vocabulary that we've learned in art. Also, think about any thoughts that you have when you look at her artwork. Does it make you wonder anything, like how she made them or why she decided to make them so close up? By zooming in very close on the center of the flower, her artwork, even though it looks very realistic, starts to kind of become abstract because of the shapes and the colors and the texture that you see. Some background information about Georgia O'Keeffe is that her name was Georgia Totto O'Keeffe, and she was an American artist who was born on November 15th in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. She is known for her paintings of large flowers, her skyscrapers, and her landscapes. Her artwork can be defined as abstract art, modern art, American modernism, and abstract expressionism. She lived in a part of Santa Fe, New Mexico, and her home was called the Ghost Ranch, where you can actually go and see her artwork today. There are some great books about Georgia O'Keeffe. One of them is My Name is Georgia. I'm going to put the links to those for you so that you can check those out. And Through Georgia's Eyes. Both of those books are beautifully illustrated and give you lots of information about her life and how she became an artist. The other thing I really wanted us to learn about is the legend of the poinsettia. Poinsettia flowers are so interesting. There are some things about them, like this year I actually didn't buy one because the leaves are poisonous. And even though they look like they have flower petals, the petals are actually leaves as well. This is a legend of the poinsettia that's been retold by many different authors and many different cultures. And it's basically the story of a young Mexican girl who was poor and wanted to present a gift to Jesus, or the Christ child, at the Christmas Eve services. When she went into the chapel with her cousin, she told him that she had nothing to give. So she gathered up a handful of weeds outside and fashioned them into a small bouquet. As she looked at the weeds, she felt very embarrassed, and she felt sad that that was all she had to give. But as she entered the chapel, she remembered her cousin's words that even the most humble gift, if given in love, will be accepted in his eyes. So even though it was something that she didn't think was very special, if you give that gift to someone with love, that makes the gift extra special. So, as she entered, suddenly the bouquet of weeds blossomed into brilliant red flowers, which now we know of as the poinsettia. From that day on, bright red flowers known as the flors de Nochebuena, or flowers of the holy night, bloomed each day during the Christmas season. So I just thought that was a beautiful story about this amazing flower or leaf or plant. And it's really inspired me to create this artwork today that I'm going to share with you. So to do your poinsettia drawing, you are going to need red paper and basically oil pastels. I put pencil here, but really you don't even need pencil because you can actually just use oil pastel or even chalk pastel, which are a little bit messier, but the basic same techniques that I used to make this project. So let's get started. Step 1 is to dive right in with your red paper. We're going to start with the shape of a circle. And we don't want to put that circle directly in the middle. You can put it a little bit off the center. That just makes a more interesting composition. And we want to draw that with a white or yellow oil pastel, pretty lightly. We're going to start with some lines that curve from that circle all the way out to the edge of your paper. You want to draw big and take up all the space on your paper. Step 3, once you finish drawing all of the curved lines, those are actually going to be the center of your leaf or your petal. These are going to turn into an organic shape of the leaf. So we're going to draw another curved line around the center line that will be the edge of the petal. Once you do that, step 4 is to take a red oil pastel and shade in each leaf in the center of your poinsettia. Now, I've tried to make sure that my lines went in the direction of the veins of the leaf. So you can see there's a line down the center, and then I shaded it in with short little strokes that went from the middle to the out of the edge of the leaf. And then step 5 is to use a light green and a dark green to shade the leaves around the petals or around the center or red leaves. A cool thing about Christmas colors is that they are actually complementary colors, which means they look so good next to each other. So using that green against the red just makes those colors really pop out and look amazing. Now, by this point, your hand is probably going to be hurting because it takes time to build up value using oil pastels. You're really using layers and layers of color, and you're building that up until you see none of the paper underneath of it. So here you can see my light green leaf. I've mixed some dark green with it, and I've gone over to make the texture of the leaf. I did the same thing with red and white on each petal. I added those layers and blended them together until I had a lot of values of red. So I have light, dark, medium, all different values of red. And that value is what makes your flower look very realistic. And then finally, the last step is to take a black oil pastel and outline the edges of the leaves. This will create kind of a shadow, and it will also blend with the colors to make darker values or shades. So once I've finished with the black, then I just go over and just make sure everything is neat and tidy. The center of those flowers, the little yellow berries, I also outline those. And then you want to put your picture up on the wall or far away and take a look at it and see if it looks finished. And then ask yourself a few questions like, do you like the way your flower looks? Is there anything else that you want to add, like maybe more value? It's really hard to tell when I'm finished because I feel like I can always add more light and dark values. Is there anything else you would do differently? Um, I have to say no. I absolutely love the way my flower turned out. It really reminds me of the close-up flowers of Georgia O'Keeffe, and I can't wait to hang it up and share it with others because remember, a gift given with love is the best gift of all, and art makes an amazing gift. So thank you so much. I hope you have had fun learning about the poinsettia and how to draw an oil pastel poinsettia. And I hope you all have a wonderful Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Bye.